Does Monday ever have you feeling more about just getting through the start of the working week? Now, your start of the working week may not necessarily be a Monday, but for me, it generally is a Monday. And I noticed a long time ago that Monday started to become a real I felt like I was in just this survival mode whereby it was just trudging through to get through. And I was really like, where is this coming from? Because generally I was always quite, ready to start the working week, but it was like this thing that came over me. And so I started to learn about this whole notion of being your best at your worst. And I know it sounds a bit like, what is that? But when I started to really understand about this inner strength we have, which is known as grit, it enabled me to really kind of go, okay, so if I'm having one of those Mondays or one of those starts of the working week where I'm not feeling my most optimal, I really need to tap into this grit, and I really need to focus on being my best at my worst. Now, what being your best at your worst looks like isn't necessarily being your best at your best, but at least you're able to look at the start of the working week very differently to how you've looked at it previously. And so for me, this is something that is critical and crucial in terms of the way we're all operating and, how much we have on the go and the amount of change and complexity and things that we have going on. And so this inner strength is critical in terms of the ability to tap into it. And so when you do play from this space of being your best at your worst, you notice as, for example, Tuesday rolls in and you're feeling a lot more like, yep, ready to go, I'm on, like I'm feeling super productive. Because you've been playing in this be your best at your worst space and tapping into this inner grit, you notice even more of a difference in terms of your performance when you're being at your best. Your best becomes better. And so why grit matters is because grit enables us to tap into our resilience. It's the power to bounce back. We get to steadily move forward with our goals in sight despite the constant shifts. It gives us the adaptability, right? So, change is a word that is kind of being thrown everywhere, and it's a constant. But when we're infused with grit, it gives us a chance to navigate with our goals in sight, but also navigate through the waters with ease, turning every new challenge into a stepping stone for growth. It gives us this persistence. So rather than, for example, start of the working week where you're just like, I'm just going to give up. I can't do it. It gives us this commitment to see things through. No matter what the hurdles we have to jump through or jump into, it propels us forward. And that's towards long-term achievements and essentially success in this ever-changing landscape. It also gives us focus, so it sharpens our concentration amidst the noise and distractions, because when we come from this place at the start of the working week in that survival mode, not really, just can't be bothered, we allow distractions get to us. I do. You get to that, it's almost like this procrastination, right? You allow the distractions to come in. But if you tap into grit, it will sharpen your concentration and it'll lead to greater productivity and what truly matters. The other really big benefit is emotional regulation. It's the ability to manage our emotions, staying more composed under pressure. And this skill is invaluable in navigating the stress and the unpredictability and everything that comes through with our working week. And last but not least, there's this whole thing around this continuous improvement. So it gives us this inspiration and the relentless pursuit to be better, to be our best, And it's about pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone, pushing our boundaries, overcoming obstacles, and constantly evolving to stay ahead in what is a dynamic and quite often a competitive environment. So when we tap into this grit, this inner strength of ours, it is the secret weapon to optimally thriving. And so I really have noticed a huge difference since applying this be your best at your worst. And why not give it a go this week? How will you tap into it? Maybe you kick it off next week and, put the mantra in your diary. That's what I've done. It sits in my diary every Monday to remind me if I'm having one of those starts of the week that be your best at your worst. And it really does shift things. So I hope this is something that is beneficial this week. Let me know what you think.